The transitive verb patterns. Recall, intransitive does not take an object. Traditional grammar definition. Does not require a direct object or a complement. Descriptive grammar definition. Ergo, transitive takes an object. Traditional grammar definition. Requires a direct object. Descriptive grammar definition. Pattern 7. NP subscript 1 as subject, VTR as predicate verb, NP subscript 2 as dear obj. Dear obj is direct object. Direct object. Entity usually directly affected by the action of a transitive verb. Examples. The man, subscript 1, kit, VTR, the woman, NP subscript 2. I, NP subscript 1, baked, VTR, a cake, NP subscript 2. The airline, NP subscript 1, flies, VTR, big jets, NP subscript 2. Note that in this last example, the airline really doesn't do anything to or affect the jets in any way, but this sentence is still classified as a pattern 7 sentence with a transitive verb. In Reed-Kellogg diagrams, the head word of a noun phrase that functions as the direct object is placed on the main line after the verb and separated from it by a vertical line which, unlike the vertical line separating a sentence's subject from its predicate, does not bisect the main line but remains perpendicular to it. To illustrate, here's the diagram of the pattern 7 sentence, I baked a cake, in which the head word of the direct object cake is separated from the verb baked by a vertical line. NP subscript 1 as subject, VTR as predicate verb, NP subscript 2 indir obj, NP subscript 3 as direct object. Indir obj is indirect object. Indirect object, normally animate entity that is indirectly affected by the action of the verb, i.e. the recipient or beneficiary of the action. Examples. He sent the IRS a nasty note. He, NP subscript 1, sent, VTR, the IRS, NP subscript 2, a nasty note, NP subscript 3. She cooked her husband a hearty meal. She, NP subscript 1, cooked, VTR, her husband, NP subscript 2, a hearty meal, NP subscript 3. Most transitive verbs that can be used in pattern 8 sentences can also appear in pattern 7 sentences, but the reverse is generally not true. He sent, VTR, the IRS, a nasty note, direct object. He sent a nasty note. She cooked, VTR, her husband, a hearty meal, direct object. She cooked a hearty meal. She cooked her husband, direct object. Instead of requiring a structure in which the indirect object precedes the direct object, many verbs occurring in pattern 8 sentences can enter into alternate structures where the direct object comes before the indirect object, which actually becomes the noun phrase in a prepositional phrase headed usually by 2 or 4. For example, the sentence, he sent the IRS a nasty note, can be transformed into, he sent a nasty note to the IRS, and the relationship between these two sentences is schematized below. He sent the IRS, indirect object, a nasty note, direct object. He sent a nasty note, direct object, to the IRS, indirect object. Thinking about these alternate forms of pattern 8 sentences can actually help us understand the reasons that Reed-Kellogg diagrams for sentences of this pattern are drawn in the ways they are. To take our first example set, if we diagram the second variant, he sent a nasty note to the IRS, the diagram will be as follows. The diagram of he sent the IRS a nasty note is exactly the same in that the indirect object, the IRS, is indicated as a prepositional phrase under the main verb sent, with the only but important difference that since the preposition to is not used in this structure where the indirect object, the IRS, precedes the direct object, a nasty note, it is omitted from the diagram. Similarly, if the diagram of she made a hearty meal for her husband is examined first, the diagram of she made her husband a hearty meal falls out from it.